This call is being recorded.
All right, shalom alaikum. Once again, welcome everyone who wants to tune into our video testimony today. It's been a little while since we last presented a live stream recording some revelations and secrets that have been kept for thousands of years now, but we're going to once again today reveal some more secrets and more mysteries that have been lingering on this planet for over 6,000 years, especially as we go back 3,500 years ago when the children of Israel were in Egypt in bondage. And it was promised by Ma'ab in 1986 that I would come along after the year 2000 and reveal more secrets. Although over 2,024 years ago, I was a little early to get a secret. So because of that, I was crucified for it, being disobedient. So that means the only disobedient that I would face today is not revealing the secrets, because now it's time. If I did not reveal them, I'd be disobedient. And I'm not going to be crucified anymore for disobeying my of course, his father in Hebrew, Aleph. It's Hebrew, Ab, Aleph, A-B. You can find that in Strong's Concordance under H1. And speaking of Strong's Concordance, as always, we ask you to take out your study tools. And you're going to start with your King James Version Holy Bible, the authorized edition that was released to the public in 1611. King James 1611 version of the Holy Bible. The Strong's is also Concordance and a synonym finder. The most preferred is the one that was Jerome Irving wrote there in the 1970s, early 1970s, as well as dictionary. Collegiate dictionary is most preferred, or Merriam-Webster's. If you have a Cambridge dictionary, whatever dictionary that you have in the study tools, if you want to use that, you can do that. As well as a Hebrew lexicon, Hebrew thesaurus, Greek thesaurus lexicon, and a set of encyclopedias, because you may want to look up this history that we're going to share with you that was presented and saved in the archives of records. And of course, most importantly, we're going to ask you to write, take notes. I mean, you want to eat something to write with, pen, pencil, something to write to utensil, and a notepad so you can take notes, plenty of notes. And speaking of today, for the record, that is live stream recording right now on YouTube. Eventually, we will download this to social media, Facebook. Today is known as, we're going by two calendars. The first calendar, of course, is our calendar. It rules the universe. Solar, the sun. The solar calendar, it rules time. And today is being recognized as the 17th day of the 8th month of our calendar. 17th day of the 8th month until sundown. Right now, we're on the East Coast of the United States. And we're looking at going on, like, according to that clock, like 25 after 1 o'clock, going 1:30. So sundown will be going to the 18th day of our 8th month. So right now, we're the 17th day of our 8th month. And we're in the second day of our week that started from sundown Monday. Actually, from sundown Sunday to sundown Monday was the first day. And now we're at sundown Monday, sundown Tuesday, the second day of the week. Almost in correspondence with their calendar. And speaking of their calendar, that you're confused with August the 17th. Today by that calendar, which is a lunar calendar, that was created thousands of years ago, first by Julius and Augustus, revived by Pope Gregory XIII. That today is known as the Gregorian calendar. The Gregorian calendar. That's known as, again, today is October. Tuesday, October 29th, Tuesday, October 29th, 2024. And just a reminder, I said a few moments ago that today is the second day of the week. That's because we are now observing our Sabbath day as Hebrew. All Hebrew Israelites, according to Exodus chapter 31, beginning at verse 13, should be observing the Sabbath day of the Lord their God in Hebrew. Yod. The 10th Hebrew alphabet is all you need to know. Yod. Not Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. That is a meaning. That bears a meaning. Those three Hebrew characters, one position twice, bears a meaning of the Christ, which represents, it comes out of John chapter 14, verse 10. That means the door, the way, the truth, and the life. Yod, Hey, Vav, Hey. Right now, I call about Yod, and it may look like 10 to you. Your English mindset from left to right, you're 1-0. It's actually from right to left. Yod, that means 0 to none. No other name. You need to know right now. And that's just a little bit of the secret of Proverbs chapter 2, verse 4. What is his name? And what is his son's name? God can tell. Those nations throughout history have come along, even those who call themselves Jews there, have come along with all types of names. Adonai, wow, all kind of names that they've created mostly come from the Arab, Ishmael, and Muhammad ibn Abdullah, along with a few other some rabbis, Rabbi Benedict, Rabbi Benjamin, and all kind of rabbis throughout history has created all kind of Adonais, Yahshua, making a mockery of the God of the Hebrews. It's not his name. In fact, if you can get around Revelation chapter 19, verse 12, as well as Revelation chapter 3, that says that he will write upon you the name of my God, his new name, the name of the city of my God. And he also has a name that no one knew except he himself, according to Revelation chapter 19, verse 12. So how would nations of the world, anyone, even Jacob, Judah, Jacob, Israelites, how would you know his name? Especially those that were born, that came out of a womb after 1979, and even after 1935. How would you know what the name of the God of the Hebrews is? Are you focusing on Exodus chapter 3? And Moshe asked him, well, the children of Israel are going to ask me, what is his name? What should I tell them? And then the English theologians of England, who were aided by 7 elders of Israel to translate the Hebrew scrolls, the Hebraic scrolls, and Hebraic writing and characters. Of course, the English could not read that. So 7 elders were hired by James, Jacob, the first king of England, along with 47 of his theologians, and locked them in a room, locked them privately away for weeks. When they came upon the scrolls, they reached the hands of the Alexandria Library in Egypt, and some were burned, trying to destroy the records of God and the prophets. What's going to happen in the last days? Although to no avail, they weren't successful in burning up all of the scrolls. They did salvage some of them. But before they reached into the hands of those 7 elders translated the Hebrew scrolls, those 47 theologians, King Jacob the first, that came along with a name that they thought was the God of the Hebrew name. So what they did was they put I am, that I am, in vowels. Tell them I am sent you. Ashua, Ashua, I am. That's not God's name. If that is the name, then I would have no need to challenge the whole planet of what I left in scrolls that now read in Proverbs chapter 30, verse 4. That means you would know my name. And the only name that you know of me is Mika. But getting back to today, so you have to record this on your records that I'm revealing this. Today is known by Pope Gregory's calendar as Tuesday, October 29, 2024, for the record. I am your host of this revelation, this testimony. I did not name myself. Neither did I call myself. I was formed and then I was called. And after I was called, then he made me. He formed me from the womb. He formed me from his own womb, from his loins. Then he formed me from the dust of the earth. He actually formed me from the dust of the ground. I became the earth, symbolically, metaphorically. I was formed of the dust of the ground. He breathed into my nostrils the breath of life as I came out of his loins. Then I became the living soul, walking this planet today in a terrestrial body throughout history. And then he said, who is like me? Look who is like me. You is like me. You is like me. And the theologians throughout history came along, they took that and created Mika Yahweh. They created Mem Yod Kaf Yod Vav, from right to left. From right to left. Mem Yod Kaf Yod Hey Vav Hey. That's not a name, it's a meaning, which means who is like Yahweh, or who is like Yahweh. That's what they created. Who is like Yahweh? They cut that off to deceive the believing that Yod Vav is the ineffable name of the God of Hebrews. A meaning. He is the same Mem Yod Kaf Yod Vav of John chapter 14, verse 10, where he said, I am the way, I am the door, the way, the truth, and the life. Yod Vav. Who is like Yod Vav? Who? The great prince of Yod Vav. The Sar Yod Vav. The Seen Resh Yod Vav. So you have Mem Yod Kaf Yod Hey Vav. Sar, the Seen Resh, Sar, the prince of Yod Hey Vav. If you want to put great prince, you put Gadol. Great prince. Sar Gadol Yod Vav. But that is not my name. My then called me from the womb thousands of years later and put me in the womb of a woman. You'll find that in Isaiah chapter 49, verse 1. He called me from the bowels of my mother. And he made mention of my name. And then he came again in 1979 to Miami of Florida, where I'm sitting right now, in a suburb of Miami-Dade County. It's known as Brownsville. He came in 1979. He called me from the womb. And in 1979, I stood in front of a whole congregation of people. He mentioned of my name and called me Mika, without the theophoric extension, which is Yod Vav, that the theologians cut off. And instead of it being Mem Yod Kaf Yod Vav, who is like Yod Vav, they cut it off. Yod Vav and made it Mika, who is like Yahweh, who is like God. Who is like God? Who is like? Mika means who is like. That's all it means, who is like. However, Mika means who is like God. Other appellations they join that. I'm introducing myself because I was commanded to do so. Just like I was commanded to vindicate errors of false shepherds, false Christ, that wants to be me. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to be me. I doubt very, very seriously if they made a Halloween costume that looks like me, that people will be wearing 2 days from now, 2 nights from now. masquerading, want to be someone else who they're not. Most of them would be monsters and skeletons and ghosts, dressing up foolishly to become a ghost, a idol of a devil worshiping, tricking people into treatment evil. Another 400 years? No, not this time. Not this. Can you imagine? Masquerading, putting on costumes of someone who you're not, and then go knock on someone's door, begging them for food to feed you or some candy, as if you deserve to be treated with candy, something sweet, whereas something so evil. Imagine that. They took hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come, to Halloween, be thou shamed, thy kingdom is gone. And then after they did do that, which is this coming night, the following Sunday they go to church and act like nothing's ever happened. And even sneak candy in their purses to take them in the church. They in front of the preacher. But they got Halloween night and think it's okay. And then later on in the same month, which they call November, which is actually it becomes the ninth month at the end of November. Right now you're in the eighth month, almost November. Sometime in November and the ninth month, then you go get turkey and eat that. Not realizing that the turkey represents my people with the brown skin. And the pilgrims and the Indians got together and thanked God for giving the brown skinned people as slaves in Thanksgiving. Thank you, Lord, for the brown skinned people, a bunch of turkeys that have no idea who they are. A buzzard. And then during the 10th month, at the latter part of the 10th month, like the 25th day, what they call December, which is actually the 10th month, the 12th month on that calendar, we tend to send gifts to Christ because we thought he was born on that day. No one, as I speak right now, they're out there shopping, exchange gifts with one to another on December 25th. That's it. That's the Christ's birth date. Not birthday, birth date. Every year. Not realizing that if Christ was conceived, he was not conceived in the place of the womb on the 20th of December of that calendar, 20th day, and 5 days of copulation, the embryo began to grow on the 25th day of December. And from December 20th to December 27th, made 1 week of that implant, of a celestial implant, immaculate conception. Then 40 perfect weeks later, you do your math, from sundown December 27th, 1953, to sundown September 26th, 1954, after midnight, the Christ landed on this planet, came out of a spaceship in a human form that we call a womb, a woman's womb. As he came out, and looked around and looked at the black skinned complexion nurse, face covered with blood, looked at her in his mind, said, Shalom. Shalom is here. And for some reason, realizing that he was in hell, called overtime in Miami, started crying for his people, crying like a baby for his people. I bear witness because I was there. I was there. Here we are today. Can reveal secrets. Came down to get my people. Came down with my 19 years after he came, as he left me here with his children, as we came down to get you. Salam alaikum. Welcome home. Welcome to the kingdom of Shalom. Welcome to the kingdom of Shalom that my art came to establish in 1979 in Miami, where New Jerusalem is right here, coming down today as I invite you now to a wedding. Today is a wedding. And that's why I'm dressed this way, because I am the bridegroom and I'm your husband. And all of you are my brides, my wives. WIVES. From left to right. WIVES. Wives. Each letter is scientifically creating another word. Each word is scientifically composed of letters. Each letter is a word. And the W is for wise. Wise, wisdom, that we now take to the college. We had elementary, middle school. We did not record it, but you know what you had. You had elementary school. You had middle school or junior high school. Yesterday you had high school, and now you have the intuition I'm giving you for college. But before you enter to college is going to take you to the University of Jerusalem, the university in Miami of Jerusalem, not of Miami. This is going to be the University of Jerusalem in Miami. But you must first be wise, the W, wise. And with that wisdom comes the I, intelligent. You must become and be intelligent. And with that I is the V, to the extreme, which is a synonymous word that means very. Very. I told you you're going to need a second. You may need a second find it. Synonymous. What's synonymous to extreme? Very. Wise, intelligent, very. And what are you coming to get? Education. College, university. Wise, intelligent, very educated. And what's the S for? Superior. Superior knowledge. Superior. Supreme. And sharp. Supreme and sharp. And as I now introduce a wedding, that you are now invited to a wedding. And all nations on this planet are invited to come to this wedding. You cannot join the wedding. You cannot join the wedding. But you are most certainly invited to gather with us. You can gather with those and look at the wedding. You're welcome to be gathered with us. And the reason why you cannot join the wedding is because you can only join through a womb of the Hebrew. You can only become a joint as a blood lineage of a Hebrew Israelite. Either Hebrew, which is celestial, or Hebrew Israelite, which is terrestrial. Those are the children of Israel. I'm not here for the children of Israel. I'm here for the children of God. According to Deuteronomy chapter 14, verse 1, I am here for the children of God, for ye are the children of the Lord your God. Angels. But then the others are children of Israel that come out of the loins of Yaakov, who I changed his name and called him Israel. So you have two different nations, two different worlds. You have a world of Hebrews and a world of Hebrew Israelites. I'm here for the world of the Hebrews that come from where I come from, everlasting. And that's proven in Micah chapter 5, verse 2. My father and I came down and came from light years to come and get you. That Lucifer blew you away. You didn't know what you were doing. You were following. And here they are, a week from today, November 5th, getting ready to bring Lucifer back. Want to bring him back. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer? Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12. I'm not making it up. How art thou fallen? It's the man who said, who did all these wonderful things. Let's make America great again. The light, the star, the light of who? The Gentiles? Or for the Gentiles? Let me go back for a moment to remind you that all nations are invited to watch this ceremony. That's why I'm on YouTube. They're invited to learn. They are invited to learn of me, to learn of my God, our God. They're invited to gather around their sets, television, or cell phone, and look at this wedding. But they cannot join, Joined, join, or Join. They cannot join me or my people. They cannot. Well, first of all, the bastard cannot enter into the congregation of the Lord. You need to study bastard. Ooh, you said a bad word. No, I'm not. I said a bad germ, not a bad word. A bad worm, a bad seed. And I have to correct something and vindicate my law as Shiloh, as my people have been stirred by false shepherds and being guided by shepherds that have no understanding, no knowledge. Yeah, that is true. It's in Jeremiah chapter 23. Yeah, that is true. By false shepherds. Cause my people to go astray. Let me take a moment before we go further, because I have to get the invitation. You have to have your intuition, because I gave you a trivia before we came live. And you're going to share it with the world. I gave you a trivia, which is your college intuition fee. You can't go to college without having an intuition fee unless you have a scholarship. But if you have a scholarship, that means you're a scholar. And there's no scholars in here. No scholars. You should be wise, intelligent, very educated, and supreme, superior, sharp. But you don't have a scholarship. I come out of a mothership, so how you have a scholarship? I came out of a spaceship. You can read that in Acts chapter 1, verse 11, the same one. Came to give me a cloud unfolded itself. A cloud took him up. The United States government in Canada calls it UFOs, according to NORAD, aerospace, NORAD, call them UFOs all over the planet. You can't even see them. They're hovering above your head right now. I don't care where you are on this planet. There's one of my spacecrafts hovering above your head and it's invisible. You can't see it. There's a level that you have to push up and down to make it visible and invisible. And you have to be at least 6 feet tall and tiptoe to reach it then. In order to grab it. I should know. Anyway, all nations are welcome to visualize this and learn of me. But you cannot join, but you can visualize it. You can. And if you be a stranger, if you happen to come here in Miami and a stranger, we'll invite you through the gate and we'll even feed you. We'll feed you. You can stay for a couple of hours if you like. You can be from Europe. You can be from any countries in Europe. Any one of the countries of Europe. Over 50 countries in Europe. You can come with your light pale skin that they call white. Some call it pink, pastel. And we'll feed you. They came in here before. And we fed them. But you cannot join us. Now, let me explain. Let me share with you what I mean by that, because some may be confused. I have on. I saw something on YouTube, and I'm going to go to it. I'm going to ask our engineer who's an angel, operates the remote control, and television screens and smart TVs in over my head back of me. I'm going to ask you to go now to YouTube and look for a small interview. Not it's longer than we're going to stay on it, but there's a certain part that I want you to hear of a Gentile, a seed of someone from Europe, that asked a question from one of the children of Israel, of the tribe of Judah, that's been here in bondage. My children, my people have been here in bondage of Israel for over 467 years now, called it slavery. And once you find it, I'll let you know when to play it. But I must say that we're going to come back. I'm going to show you after we leave YouTube that Judah was brought into bondage. They were brought into bondage, slave ships. They weren't invited to this land. They were brought to this land in bondage. Now, the children of Israel, of course, were in Egypt before, but they wasn't brought into bondage. They grew. They were invited in Egypt. Israel, or Yaakov, whichever you prefer, Israel and only 70 of his family members of his loins, and from his loins, walked into Egypt because Joseph was there already. Now, you can read that in Exodus chapter 1. It's there. Joseph was already in Egypt and asked Pharaoh if his family could come because there was a dearth going on back in the days. A dearth, Dearth, means a lack of food in the nation. And Pharaoh, given Joseph, the position he had, said, fine, let him come. And Israel, his father and his brothers, 11 brothers, his father, their wives, his wives, and children, walked into Egypt. And as that Pharaoh died, another Pharaoh died, and they were no longer residents, as far as the knowledge, because they multiplied. The children of Israel multiplied and became more than the Egyptians. And then someone said, hey, we better do something about this, because after a while they'll take over. So what we're going to do is we're going to put them in bondage. Because that generation that walked in with Yaakov, Israel, they died. Next thing you know, a maid turned into a bad. A M-A-I-D, a M-A-I-D turned into M-A-D-E. See, synonymous, see, homophone. And M-A-I-D, after years and years of being in Egypt, turned into an M-A-D-E. From a maid to a maid, and from a make to a make. From an M-A-T-E to an M-A-K, I'm going to make you do it, mate. Started breeding other slaves, Egyptians. So let's set that straight. I mean, that's only time in history the children of Israel, one tribe, was brought into bondage. We're going to show you that after this. Remind me of that. I'm not talking to somebody in my mind who's going to remind me of it. I have an ear part in my ear. You can't see it. It's celestial coming from my heart. He's speaking to me. So play that little segment. See if I can stop. You found it? Did you find it? It'll be, yeah, that one right there. Yeah. Click on that and see if I can step out of there. I want you to see it and hear it. I'm just going to be saying it. Hey, I'm going to give you this video. That way we don't whoop your ass.
Yeah, I was actually seeing if I could join.
No, you can't join. Go back a little bit. Because you're not the race that. Go back a little bit. Okay, about right there. Okay. Come here.
What's up, brother? Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
How are you?
I'm all right, yourself?
First, I gotta say, your fashion, man, unbelievably on point right now.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
Can you describe what you got going on?
Oh, okay. I'm gonna give you this video. That way we don't whoop your ass.
Yeah, I was actually seeing if I could join.
No, you can't join.
Why is that?
Because you're not the race that we're allowed to join.
What race you gotta be?
You gotta be one of the 12 tribes of Israel. in North Central and South America, they're primarily blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians. So if your father's like of Negro descent, Native Indian descent, Dominican, or something like that, then you can join in. But if he's not one of them, you can't join them.
What percent do I gotta have?
Your daddy just got to be there. There's no percent. Even Jewish people say that you're Jewish according to your mother, but the Bible says it's according to your father. So, like for us, Bob Marley is a white man.
Can you break that down for me?
Because if you ever look up Bob Marley's father, Bob Marley looks like his father in blackface. Because
so my mom could be a beautiful black queen. My dad's white. I'm out.
That's right.
I'm gonna need your help reading one of these words, but can you say what that shirt says?
This brother has a shirt. This is IFCPK, and that's called Real Niggas University.
Nice to meet you. I'm Tyler.
No problem. Now, a lot of people, of course, the word nigga has always been a derogatory term for black people in America, but this is also an identifying marker for who the children of Israel are in the Bible. When you go to the book of Acts 13, verse 1, they call Barnabas Niger. Okay. It's safe to say the subject that we're looking for. Now, the subject is what? The European fellow there, of course, the interviewer, maybe from a tabloid or from some magazine, newspaper, television, a scribe. I'm not going to call it a Yehudite that was there, for sure. Not necessary. But the European asking the question, or was inquisitive, wanting to do something. Now, the word he used, is your mind. So you have to hear. You can't hear with your ears. That's one of the qualifications of being a wife or wives. Wives. You have to hear with your mind. If you don't hear with your mind, you're going to miss it. Your ears only were created and made for you to absorb sound. The first thing you must do is listen. You must first listen with the outer ear. You have 6 ears. I didn't say you have 6 visible physical ears. I say you have 6. There are 6 sections, 3 on each side here. And the first thing you must do is hear. After you listen, then when your outer ear is only made to absorb sounds as you're listening, the middle ear grabs hold to what you're listening to. The outer ear listens, the middle ear grabs hold to what you are listening to, and it goes into the inner ear that makes you hear what was said. The outer, middle, inner ear. The inner ear, of course, gets to your brain. And if you were just listening to what the European acts or wanted to do, then you're going to think he was asking to be a part of them, to be there with them and learn how to do what they were doing in that field. That's some kind of academy. So, of course, if he had, I'm sure if he would have said, can I just exercise with y'all? Can I be with you today? Can I just gather with you here today? Gather with you as a stranger and exercise with you? I'm sure that Yehudite probably would say, well, you can exercise with us, sure. But you cannot join the organization that we have. You cannot join being one of us. He used join. He used the word, I want to join you. And of course, Jacob said, no, you cannot join us. And they cannot. By blood lineage. Should we go there? Let's now go back to your internet. We're done with that. Go back to your internet for a moment. And let's go use strong concordance. You should have one there already. I'm going to join you. See, I'm going to join you. And type in JOIN. JOIN. And remember, I mentioned a few moments ago that Yaakov or Yisrael to Egypt with 70 of his people. Okay. I'm going to find out. Go to Exodus chapter 1. You put join. You know, in order to get that, you can just click on. Because you're already in Exodus chapter 1. Is that right? Okay. Now, look at verse 1. And I want now we have an engineer, we have a reader. I want you to read that.
Now these are the names of the children of Israel.
The children of Israel, not the children of God, but the children of the Lord your God, thy God. It's the children of Israel, which did what?
Which came into
Which did
Egypt,
what?
Came into
They
Egypt.
came into Egypt. Just like that European just now, that video, he came into the park. He came into the park. How many?
Every man and his household came with Jacob.
They came with Yaakov. And as they came with Yaakov, that means they came out of Yaakov's loins. They're with him already. Now let's see, read the next verse, or 3 verses, and see who came with Yaakov from his loins. Who's that?
Reuben, Simeon, Levi, and Judah.
Now that's who is Judah. Judah is who he is part of. Those were Yehudites in that part. Who else? Verse 3.
Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin. Dan and Naphtali, Gad, and Asher.
As you recall, going back to the video, he showed a little there that said 12 tribes of Israel. You have to be one of these to join us. You cannot be from Europe and join us. You cannot. But you can be from Europe and be among us. You can gather yourself with us. As he was on the park with them, he's allowed to do that. He was among them in the park. You're allowed to do that. We have laws in Leviticus and Numbers. Deuteronomy. It said, if a stranger that came in that park is among you, then he can be with you on the park. You can't kick him out. And if he's hungry, feed him. You have barbecue there on the park. He asks for some barbecue chicken or something. Give him a piece of barbecue. Right? If he wants to talk to your wife because he's friendly, let him talk to your Hebrew wife, Israelite. He cannot marry her because he's not a part of the join from the loins. He can rape her and be killed, but he cannot join her. He can marry her, right? Just like Bob Marley's father married his mama that was black. But it doesn't make Bob Marley Hebrew Israelite. Because what? It does go by the seed. All the read from Exodus chapter 1, verses 2, 3, and 4 are the seed of Yaakov. They are the seed, one seed of Yaakov that produced 12 sons. Because it was the same seed, they come out the same loins of Yaakov, not a different seed. Wow. And they were inside of what? A womb of 3 different women. The human womb is called an incubator in the hospital, in the prenatal care, or in the IC unit, IU, intensive care, ICU. It's called an incubator. I have one from my loins, my last daughter that come from my loins, that was like 8 weeks premature, and she survived. They put in an incubator for 8 weeks, and she survived. And now she is going on 19 years ago old. Wow. Because her mother, or the womb that she came out of, did not give birth to her. The womb that she came out of only developed her to a certain point. The incubator gave birth to her and caused her to live. Why? Because there was something still attached to her in the incubator that they call a navel today. You got it? Okay. But they call them in the hospital tubes that supplied oxygen and some type of liquid for food. Right? But her father is Hebrew. And therefore she is a Hebrew. And her mother is Israelite. Or the womb, the incubator that she was in, that she was planted in, the seed was planted as an Israelite. So it makes her Hebrew, but it makes her more Hebrew than Hebrew Israelite. Are you following me with this? That's your third ear. And you can look at, that's why I told you to get your encyclopedias as a study tool. Go to your encyclopedias and look up the human ear. And I guarantee you're going to find that there are three parts of the ear inside the skull: the outer ear, the middle ear, and the inner ear. And my inner ear heard that European say, I want to join you. And of course, Yaakov, Yehuda, was correct when he said, you cannot join us. Because you cannot. You have to be born lineage. Read verse 5. Exodus chapter 1.
And all the souls.
How many?
All the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob.
They came out of what? The hospital?
The loins.
They came out of Europe. They came out of Europe. They came out of Egypt. They came out of a white loins, a white womb. They came out of the loins of Yaakov. Well, how many?
70 souls.
70 souls. 70. And we just celebrated, and we're still celebrating and recognizing the 70th anniversary of when Shiloh landed on this planet, the lawgiver, on September 27, 1954. I dare you to call me false. You don't even know what false is. Someone false. Someone false. Just to give you a little update on false. Someone false would ask you when you log on to YouTube to subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe and press the like button. Begging for money. My only purpose of coming on YouTube is so you can subscribe to me and like me so I can make money. That's false. But why would I defy my own promise that says in Isaiah chapter 52, you have sold yourselves for naught. Therefore, you shall be redeemed without money. I don't want your money, you filthy lucre. I want your soul, one of those that came into Egypt, with Yaakov, Israel. That's what I want. I want your soul that belongs to me, according to Ezekiel chapter 18, verse 4. That's what I want. If I was false, I'd be begging you for money. Don't forget to send your donations and tithes. Here's my post office box, and then hold up a little sign so you can see it on the screen. Hold up something so you can see it. Here's the post office box. Don't forget now. Send as much as you can. I need you. Help my ministry. Help my ministry so I can continue this on YouTube and continue to teach you and help you reach God. Help you reach God. Right, here we go. Here we go with another false one. Here we go again. Here we go again. False one. What am I going to do with you? What am I going to do with you? Here we go again, Israelites. Here we go again. You need to take a course in college on the word false and study it real hard. Because someone who can prophesy 5 years before it happens, and then it happens, that can't be false. You better go study Jeremiah chapter 28, verse 9, and find out what peace is. False. When someone at the age of 13, when someone at the age of 13 can go and lay down in the trance, and the Lord God of Hebrews put a vision in his mind that somebody's going to be shot while campaigning to be president of the United States in 1968 on June 1st, 1968. And then the God of Hebrews come and put something in his mind to let him see someone campaign on the stage, run for president. And then after the campaign, see that particular individual gets shot in the head by someone. They rush him to the hospital. He lived for one day and died. And then that 13-year-old gets up the next morning and tells his mama what God put in his head that he saw. And when his mama said, "You better not say anything to anybody about that dream you had, boy. You hear me?" And then 2 days later, when that politician individual was campaigning in California, 2 days later of that week, and as he was campaigning for president to be president of the United States, after his campaign, walking through a kitchen, and shot in the head, rushed to the hospital, lived for one day, and died the next day. That little boy at 13 years old could not be false. To grow up and be 7 years old today and be false. You better study false prophet. But before you do that, you better study God and find out who God is of the Hebrews and what his name is, and all that Israelite, all that Hebrew Jewish stuff that you've been studying, and these niggas in prison, and your books that you've been studying in prison, and these Jewish rabbis, and your own study that you've been looking at other books that were written by Jews. You better study it real hard and get your ass together. ASS. How many times in the Bible? I can say that because an ass is a donkey, and donkeys are brown, and they have big teeth. They do. Read verse 5 again.
And all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls.
Why?
For Joseph was in Egypt already.
Read the next verse 6.
And Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation.
Gone after 40 years. The generation is 40 years. Read verse 7.
And the children of Israel were fruitful.
They did what?
And increased abundantly.
Abundantly they increased. I mean, wow, you're talking about millions. And what did what?
And multiplied and waxed exceeding mighty.
I mean, now you know it's millions. And the what?
And the land was filled.
The land was filled with them. All of a sudden, it turned from Egypt to Israel. What used to be Egypt became Israel, the children of Israel. Read verse 8.
Now there rose up a new king over Egypt.
Really?
Which knew not Joseph.
I don't know nobody named Joseph. And what did he say?
And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
Do you see that? More and mightier than we? So what should they do?
Come on. Let us deal wisely.
You got to deceive. That's the W. That's the wise. Wisely. WIVES. They became wise, intelligent, very educated, and sharp. Not superior, sharp. Because they're wisely with them. And what?
Lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join unto our enemies.
And do what?
And fight
against us. And so what?
Get them up out of the land.
Goodness gracious. Read verse 11.
Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters.
They did. They went from mate. See, multiply. They went from mate, M-A-T-E, to make, M-A-K-E. They went from made, M-A-I-D, to made, M-A-D-E. Taskmasters. And what?
To afflict them with their burdens. And they built for
That's
Pharaoh.
that's slavery. They built for shepherds what?
And they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them,
What happened?
the more they multiplied and
Good
grew.
gracious alive. It's almost like, hey, ants.
Mhm.
I don't want to use roaches, but roaches is a good example of an insect. That one egg of a roach can hatch up to 40 roaches. Study. I told you this encyclopedias. Call me false. Call me a liar. It's okay. I invite all people. I invite all challengers to call me a liar or false. It's okay. I'm used to that. The only thing you have to do is prove it. You can call me whatever you like. You can even speak about me, but you don't know. You have absolutely nothing of me. You can speak about me. That's ABOUT. Leave my odd out. ABOUT, about. But you know absolutely nothing of me. You only know about my name that I used incognito to get employment in this government. That's all you know. You know the names or surnames of slave that use the slave as a name. Even John's son. That's all you know. You know Charles, which means prince in English anyway. Royal. That's all you know. You don't know my celestial name. No one does. That's why it says in Revelation 19:12. You don't know my name, only I know it. My made mention of Mika. He made mention of my name, says Mika. I'm the very same Mika the Morrisite. I'm the very same soul known as Mika the Morrisite. If we're gonna go there in a minute, that's why I say you got to hear what's being said. You got to hear it. Why? Because that's my favorite word in the book called Mika. That's the first one you're gonna see. Here. With what? Your mind. Read the next verse.
And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage,
See? And what?
in mortar,
Uh-huh.
and in brick, and in all manner of service
What?
in the field.
What? Now they got what they call in movies in the old days, they call field niggas. House niggas and field niggas. I feel you, nigga. What else?
All their service, wherein they made them serve, was with rigor.
Read on.
And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives,
Really? See, I told you, midwife, maid, and said what?
of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Puah.
Read on.
And he said, when ye do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew
Now they're gonna
women,
start killing up the boys. The men, what?
see them upon the stools. If it be a son, then ye shall kill him.
Imagine that. And they're speaking of what's going on now with its politicians in this country with abortion rights. Here's your first abortion rights right here. So whoever you vote for, make sure ain't the one who said kill them, kill the boys. And if it ain't the one who said kill the boys, you would make sure why he don't want to kill them. It's a two-way street. Don't kill them. Let them be born. So when they're born, I can kill them. No, kill them before they be born. Another chance. It's a two-way street. Read on.
But if it be a daughter, then she shall live.
Maybe the first one of the United States presidency. 17.
But the midwives feared God, and did not as
They
the king
did what?
feared God,
They did what?
and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the men children alive.
Okay, read on.
But the king of Egypt called for the midwives, and said unto them, why have ye done this thing, and have saved the men children alive?
Read on.
And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women.
Oh, so they cannot join. Not the same. But they were already with them. You were all mingled together in the same place. They call them citizens. And what else?
They are lively and are delivered eerie. The midwives come in unto them.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore God dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty.
Okay.
And it came to pass,
Mm.
the midwives feared God, that he made them houses. And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born ye shall cast into the river,
What?
and every daughter ye shall save alive.
Wow. Go back up to verse 10. Read verse 10 again. This is subject. What verse 10 says.
Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us.
Okay, so how will they join their enemies? The first meaning of join in the Bible, J-O-I-N in English. And go your strong code. Now click on that. You should see H3254. Is that what you see?
Yeah.
And it means what? To add and increase. To join oneself to. To be joined and be added. See, to be added to. You can't be added to nobody's loins if you're not part of it. You cannot add yourself to a loin, especially if you come from another loin. Now you get the mystery? You cannot, the white fella in the party, European, actually cannot join. You cannot join the loin that's already existing. You come from another loin. Even you can loin of a Hebrew Israelite. You can. It's got to be the same tribe. That's why he showed the tribes. You got it? Go back to the search box where you see where you got join, and now you have another one. In 2 chapter 20, verse 35. Do you see it? Now, when you look at that in the H2266, it tells you to do something magically. You tie magic charms. Look at it. So the white fella wanted to do something magic. He wanted to make himself become a Hebrew Israelite. Join. To be allied with. See, to be allied with. And that would mean, see, here's a join and a gather. A perfect example today of a join and a gather of this meaning of join is that Kim Jong-un sent over 10,000 troops to Putin in Europe and Russia to join him in fighting against Ukraine, which is the perfect example of Exodus chapter 1, where they rise up against us and join their enemies and fight against us. That's a join. And nothing magic can come out of that. Join another nation. But Kim Jong-un and his North Koreans cannot go to Putin and say, we want to be a Russian. They've already joined, they've already born in North Korea. Descendants, lineage, bloodline. Just like Russia can't go to North Korea and say, I want to be a North Korean, I'm Russian. You cannot join like that. Now you can go to Russia and go to North Korea and fighting, which is another different type of join. You getting it? Joins 14 times, just figuratively. To join literally or figuratively, specifically by means of spells, to fight, charm. This is under the lexicon, under the Strong's definitions of the same meaning, H2266. You got it?
Yeah.
The other time would be in Isaiah with a meeting, Isaiah chapter 9, verse 11, with H5526. What kind of joy is this? To weave together. This is what brought about the Bob Marley. They weaved themselves together. A white man, a white European, and his black mama of Judah weaved himself together and joined him with that woman and joined his loins with her loins, joined his organ his gender with her gender, and as a result, they had a cover up to cover oneself. This is meaning right here, and it was one of the results of that, known as Robert Marley. I was working. I was at the hospital in Miami where he died that year back in the 80s. You getting it? Another join, 14 times join. Europeans say, I want to join you. I mean, where was the European coming from? And right away, he was quick to tell the man, you cannot join us. How do you know the European was saying, join y'all exercising? Which join do you want to join? But more than likely, see, here's what you don't know. What he didn't know. The European scribe that was there with the microphone, he already knew who his blood lineage is and where he come from. He did not intend to join them by blood. He wasn't asking that. He wasn't asking to become a part of them as a Hebrew Israelite from the tribe of Yehuda. He wanted to join them in their exercise. Can I join y'all and work out with you today? That's all I want to do. I want to eat with you and go to war with you. I know I can't be a Hebrew Israelite. I know where I come from. I come from my daddy and my mommy. They were from Europe, or we from wherever they think they come from today, in New York. We're from Alabama. We from Chicago. I know I was born. I'm in a white family. Every Thanksgiving we eat at a white table. I have white family members. I know I cannot be a. You show them on the shirt. I know I can't be a nigga. I don't want to join the. I don't want to be a nigga. I know you're a nigga. You think I'm actually to join to be a nigga? You don't have to teach me your history. With that ego he had, let me tell you what I know. See, God, I'm a Hebrew Israelite, man. I'm not a nigga. World's best kept secret. I wrote, you are not a nigger. Yeah, but he had to go and show, here come mighty man. Let me tell you what I got, man. What you want to do? May I help you? Yeah, let me put this around your neck before my people beat you up. Yeah, let me put this around your neck. Hey, if I don't put this around your neck, you gonna put something around my neck. And then put it, like you put something around our neck and you put it in a tree. You put my granddaddy something around his neck and put it in the tree. So let me do this because we want to be reminded of that. So what I want now, what you want? I want to join you. Yeah, man, let me tell you something. You can't join us. We Hebrew Israelites. Why? Why you? And then he played with it. The white European played with his mind. So what else you know? Let me teach you something. See here? I mean, you a slave. How you gonna teach the white slave master where you come from? What you doing? You think they don't know that? Did you stop and ask him for a moment? Okay, what do you mean by join us? What exactly do you mean? No, I just want to exercise with you today. Okay, you go over that way though. My instructors here, you and your crew, you go over that way. Don't you go to a gym and join those in the gym while they're working out? Join. Did you study join in English? OIN. If you hadn't, did you remove the Y? Did you remove the J and put a Y there and put you in? Yo, I'm in. Yo, in. You mean right? Look at it. Look at it. You have YO. Hey, yo. What? What's up? I'm in. And then when they sit down or kneel out on the grass or whatever, he called his buddy from the truck. Hey, yo, I'm in. Join. Attend. H3867 says attend. You should have it there. Don't leave it. H3867 under Lawa. Lawa, right? It means to attend, to be joined, not to become a part of you as a loin. Look, to borrow and to cause to borrow. You mind if I borrow $10 till next week? Lend it to me, lend to. I'll pay you back. I know I don't have as much money as you have. I know I'm not black. All I want to do is borrow you for a minute. to exercise with you in the park. That's all I want to do. I reverse my chronicle. I cannot reverse my ethnocentrism. I cannot do that. That's in Isaiah chapter 56. Join. And it being that he's European, and the Europeans are responsible for the writings of the printings of the New Testament. Is that correct? Right. That means, and if you look very closely, that means the English word join, 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 is not found in the New Testament. There's no meaning in the New Testament from the Europeans of join. So they don't know what join is. So why do you want to educate them about your loins and about your blood? And about Bob Marley's daddy? I can, we can go on and on, but that's not the subject, because they say in our law, he's a stranger that come in part. Don't you know that Judah was also and still is a stranger in the land that's not theirs? Go to it. Go to the Bible. Go to Genesis chapter 15 and read 15.
He said unto Abram,
What he said.
Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in the land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years.
I go to Acts chapter 7. How were they strangers? Remember, they were strangers in Egypt. That was not theirs a land, right? And they were afflicted for 400 years in Egypt. You know, it can pertain to this land, because we were bought by this here, our people, right? But they were strangers.
And God spake on this wise, that his seed.
Now, God's seed were taken into bondage. What?
Should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage and entreat them evil 400 years.
Right. They became strangers, but they were brought in bondage. They would see his seed were not strangers. You got two different events here. The first event was walking to Egypt. Then they became strangers because that Pharaoh died, Joseph died, everybody died. So all of a sudden, they became strangers. Where these people come from? From the beginning. How they got here? Strangers. So the land is not theirs. And they were made into slavery, servitude. But here you have someone whose seed was brought into bondage in Acts 7:6, and they were wise. So what stranger? The stranger here is coming from H 11:21. As you look up stranger, go back to your conclusion of stranger 130 times. Print it. The first stranger is in what you just read, Genesis 15:13. And we say Genesis because there's no G, no J. It's Gimel. Now that's what the word begins with, Gimel. A sojourner. H 16:13. You got stranger? Okay. And what you have? You should have Ger, a God. It's a sojourner, a temporary inhabitant, a newcomer, lacking inherited rights. So what you had was a stranger coming to Paul early while they were exiled to train him to become whatever, soldiers. He was a newcomer lacking inherited rights. He wasn't from a tribe. He was a stranger. Look, foreigners in Israel. He was in a little group of a tribe of Judah in a part of Israel. Became a stranger from Europe. So therefore, that would have made him a stranger among the Israelites. And not only that, the root of that, the etymology of under H 1481, also totally hospitable to him, to seek hospitality with. That European went in the park seeking hospitality as a stranger. Go to it. H 1481. Went doing what? To seek hospitality with, to assemble oneself. Although he could have also been wanting to go to stir up trouble. Did you see it there? And strife and quarrel. But he did not. But he starts more questions that could have caused strife and quarrel. Even as he stood and stand in awe. Did you see it? Yes, stand in awe. Be afraid. You're coming from stranger. Stranger walks up to you with a microphone. From the tabloid. From some type of journalism. Is that right? And of course, we have laws, and I'm going to read one. It's in Exodus chapter 12. Look at Exodus chapter 12. Go back to your meanings. Exodus chapter 12, verse 28. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, look at it, and will keep the Passover to the Lord, let all his males be circumcised. And then let him come near and keep it. And he shall be as one that is born in the land, for no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof. So what kind of stranger this is? If he circumcises a stranger, what kind of stranger do you think this is? That the Jews put down in the translation. They put it there, but you wouldn't know it until I reveal it. What kind of stranger this is? This stranger that sojourned with you is another tribe of Israel. He's a stranger for one of the 12 tribes. You'll find out on the H 1121. He become a son or grandson, a member of a group of the same nation. Read and see. Go to H 1129.
Son.
H 1121. What does it say?
Son. Grandson.
And member of a group. Look at number 7. What does it say?
People of a nation.
People of a nation. And number 6 says what?
Sons as characterization, that is, sons of injustice or unrighteous men, or sons of God.
Right. That's that stranger. And that's what that law means. That all the strangers that come into you, they ought to have one law with you. Why? Because all the law was given to all the tribes. Moses gave the law to all 12 tribes. So someone come and forgot the law, maybe their parents didn't teach them in the tribe of Gad. So they come to Yehuda, let him come in with you and eat as a stranger. Don't you live today in the United States? And you go knock on someone's door who's also Yehuda, and may I help you? I don't know you. Well, I'm like you. Okay, well, I don't know what you want. You're a stranger to me. And they from the same tribe. Yehuda could be a stranger to Yehuda. And a sojourner as well. Where you come from? Mississippi. Well, what you doing in Miami? Well, I'm just traveling. I'm a sojourner. I want to come and see if I can join y'all with the Feast of Tabernacles. Join y'all. And join the Feast of Tabernacles. Well, come in because we did invite you. Want something to eat? I mean, am I right or am I correct? I cannot, because some people say I'm false. Here we get it from the word. Who's the word made flesh? Stranger. The man asks, can I join you? What do you mean by, hold on, slow down a little bit. Slow down for a minute. What do you mean by join us? I just want to know if I can exercise with you. Oh, okay. Since you said that, I ain't got to pull out my mind and what I learned from the white slave master, or what I learned in books from other people who knew Yahweh first, the 1970s, before you were born, and even after you were born, even when you were only 3 years old when Yahweh came in 1979. How in hell could you tell me of Yahweh? Pardon me? Welcome to our wedding. This is wedding day. I just had to get that out of the way. Now you know the difference. I'm not taking up for Jacob because he's still dead. He's dead. Not physically, of course. Be still mentally dead. You need to find out who your potentate is. That stranger. Are we on one page now? Same page. We could just straighten out our subject. I just had to point it out, not to vindicate Yaakov, but to vindicate my nation of people in our wisdom. To separate the sheep from the goats. Got it? Okay. Now we know who's invited. Who's invited? I told you, even the journalist there, he's invited to our wedding. Like I mentioned before, he's invited. Go to Micah chapter 4. Let me tell you how he's invited. Go to Micah chapter 4 for a moment. I'm going to want you to read that. In fact, go to Micah chapter 1 first so you can see why you got to use your mind to hear. Go to Micah chapter 1. And I'm also, when you get there, you got there? Okay. Micah chapter 1. It's the first, not the first verse. Read the first word of the second verse. In fact, you can read the whole verse.
Here.
What's the first word?
First word.
What's
Here.
The first word is here. As others be listening. I mean, this here must be extremely important for you to do. And if you hadn't noticed it, your ear is there too. See that H comes from Hey of the Hebrew alphabet, the fifth Hebrew symbol. Hey. That's also the fourth one from right to left. From right to left is the fourth one in Yod Hey Wav Hey. Hey. That fourth one of the two, there's two Hey and Yod Hey Wav Hey. The fourth one on the left represents the door. So as you come to the door, bring your ear. Don't you have H-E-A-R? Remove the Hey, you have ear. So as you come to the door, bring your ear. And I'm going to show you the way by the truth. The way is Wav. The truth is the other Hey. So you got to hear with your ear the truth. And once you do that, then I'm going to take you to life everlasting, to my Father. Yo. Read the rest of it. Hear what? Who's it for? Who?
People.
All people? Did it say what tribe?
All ye people.
Ye. Ye is speaking to the Israelites and Israel. Ye. And what?
Hearken, O earth.
See, ye is speaking to the Israelites, but hearken those at the end. See, hark in those at the end are of the earth, all the earth,
and all that is
in the earth, in with the land.
And let the Lord God be witness against you.
Right now, right. Who?
The Lord from His holy temple.
And He's witnessing against you right now. Is a witness with you? Is it against you? So they're witnessing against you right now. It's a live stream. And that journalist also saw, and he asked the question, do you hate white people? Well, what is the white people? Go to Malachi chapter 1. Read verse 2. Malachi chapter 1, verse 2.
I have loved you, saith the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us?
Where? It didn't say why. Wherein? Where were you loved us? Read.
Was not Esau Jacob's brother, said the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob,
Uh-huh.
and I hated
You
Esau.
sure don't say I love Israel?
Yet I loved Jacob.
Why did he love Jacob and not Israel? Uh-oh, now you did it. You want to be me, you better explain that. Why did he love Jacob and not love Israel? My love Jacob. I'm the one who changed Jacob. I call him Israel. His parents named him Jacob. Well, I named him and I called him Israel so I could avoid loving him and not loving the others.
Mm.
Why? Why? Because all other nations mean nothing to me. I'm gonna show you that too. Bill Ma'ab, who hated Yaakov and laid Esau, hated Esau and laid his mountain for inheritance and loved Yaakov. But after Yaakov wrestled with me, who Ma'ab loved, I put him straight. I set him straight. You better get your mind straight. You want to wrestle? You know who I am. You ain't gonna wrestle with me like you. Ma'ab, you love, of course, he'll argue because he's the one who took replica to dress you up like your brother. Because Isaac was dim and blind, all he could do is smell. And because of I got to go through Yaakov anyway, not Esau. Although he was oldest, the firstborn, the first twin of another nation. Read the rest of it.
And I hated Esau.
See, it said hated. It don't say hate. And what else?
And I laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
That's what's going on now. But he hated it and laid his mountain down. That's what they're doing today. They became now the false Jews. And why? He hated it because he lied. He's a liar. He's a liar. So that's Yaakov took him to the side and said, your name is Israel. That way you won't get caught up with Jacob. And you won't be separated from Esau. Because I know in the last days they're going to be some that call themselves Yehuda, Jews, and they're not. But this, and they're doing it right now on YouTube. All nations should be gathering before me right now. Anywhere on the planet, you got to tune in your cell phone or laptop. You can tune in YouTube. You come from another nation. You could be right now in China. It could be dark. It could be 12 o'clock at night, and you'll still be on YouTube. I'm teaching you of my way, of my God. Go to chapter 4, read verse 1.
But in the last days,
When?
In the last
The
days,
same last days that Yaakov was told to call his sons to gather themselves together, that shall befall them in the last days. In Genesis chapter 49 and verse 1. Here we are now in the last days. That what?
it shall come to pass
Right.
that the mountain of the house of the Lord shall be established in the top of the mountains.
That means the other governments. That means the government of my mountain, the government of my government, this mountain is going to be stacked on top of all other governments. It's going to be above all governments. The kingdom of God. That means it's got to come down. I'm going to bring it down with me out of heaven. And you don't know what that means yet because it was sealed. And after all these years, if everyone thought what it meant today, huh? That's not what it means. Coming down. You know what it means. It was sealed. Read on. What else?
And it shall be exalted above the hills.
The smaller governments, the municipalities. And what?
And people shall flow unto it.
Shall or might?
Shall.
And what?
And many nations shall come and say,
What are they going to say?
come, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord.
To his government. And do what?
And to the house of the God of Jacob.
See Jacob again? And then what?
And he will teach us of his
He will
ways.
do what?
He will teach
How are you
us
going to come
ways.
teach if you cannot and be gathered together? But how will I teach you? I'm doing it now. You ain't got to be in this house with your Even those who come, you can only come so far. Can't join us. It depends on what join you want to be. What else?
And we will walk in his paths. For the law shall go forth of Zion, and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
Read on. Read to verse 8.
He shall judge among many people.
Do you see this? What's going on? From where? All over the planet. And what?
And rebuke strong nations afar off.
See how far off? Europe, Asia, Africa, South America, Brazil. And what else?
And they shall beat their swords into plowshares.
All of those that wanted to fight, they all of a sudden become farmers. Humble yourself. There won't be no war. And what else?
Spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up a sword against nation, neither shall they learn war anymore.
That means a war has to take place before this can happen. Here we are, war all over the Middle East and Europe right now. Israel just bombed Iran. I looked on this morning, almost 100 people were bombed by some missiles in a place in the Middle East, which include children. War. Said be wars, rumors of wars. But what else?
But they shall sit every man under his vine and under his fig tree.
His own fig tree. That means they be trying to figure it out. The fig tree. Let's try and figure this out. What is he saying? And what else?
And none shall make them afraid, for the mouth of the Lord of hosts hath spoken it. For all people will walk every one in the name of his God.
Wait. We walk in the name of his God, and not the name of my God. And we will walk.
And we will walk in the name of the Lord our God forever and ever.
Know how much I teach them, or what I teach them, even of our ways, they're going to still walk in the ways of their God. Don't you see it? Even I say, hey, the God of the Hebrews, he created the heavens and earth. Yeah, okay, right. I just want to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, I just want to know, what y'all doing. I mean, I know I can't join you because I was born from your heritage, but I can't join you. I just want to learn. Here it is. But no matter what I learn after I join you, or even gather about you as a stranger or a sojourner, I still believe in my God. My God is a roach. My God, a chicken and a cow. Right? My pastor's name is Pastor Roach. Our people have inherited slave surnames and the name Roach. Could you imagine walking around all your life, being in your 50s and 60s, and somebody call you, hey, Mr. Somebody here to see you. Who? The exterminator. Oh, yeah, I called him right to get his rat out my backyard. And what else? Next verse.
In that day, saith the Lord, will I assemble her that halted, and I will gather her that is driven out, and her that I have afflicted. And I will make her that halted a remnant, and her that was cast far off a strong nation. And the Lord shall reign over them in Mount Zion from henceforth.
Even how long?
Even forever.
Now read the last verse, 8.
And thou, O tower of the flock, the stronghold of the daughter of Zion, unto thee shall it come, even the first dominion.
Right.
Kingdom shall come to the daughter of Jerusalem.
Hey, that's who I'm going to marry today. This is the wedding. The daughter of Jerusalem. You hear me? I mean, now that we have go to Isaiah chapter 40 so we can get this out of the way now about these nations and who really means what to me. Go to Isaiah chapter 40. Who means what to me? You want to join? You want what? Who do you want to join? Who do you want to join? How do you want to join? What join do you mean? You put it in the air, and then I think you want to join. Someone to join the joint. Already have it rolled up. Then come on YouTube after smoke it and coming on an iPod. and displaying it.
Mm.
Glassy eyes. Read verse, let's start out with verse 30. I want to get into it. No, not 30. Go to verse 13. Actually, verse 12.
Who have measured the waters in the hollow of his hand, and meted out heaven with a span, and comprehended the dust of the earth in a measure,
Mm-hmm.
and weighed the mountains in scales, and the hills in a balance?
Look, see, that's the question. That's the same as that is a supplement, the foundation of Proverbs chapter 30, verse 4. Read the next one.
Who have directed the spirit of the Lord,
See?
or being his counselor have taught him?
Questions. Isaiah 40, verse 7. Isaiah chapter 40, these verses 13 now is a supplement and a foundation of Proverbs chapter 30, verse 4. Read verse 14.
With whom took he counsel, and who instructed him, and taught him in the path of judgment, and taught him knowledge, and shewed to him the way of understanding?
The most powerful knowledge of peaceful existence. Who taught him all that? This is somebody who was taught by somebody like John teaching his disciple, his student. Verse 50.
Behold, the nations are as a drop of a bucket,
That's all.
and are counted as the small dust of the
That's
valley.
all.
Behold, he taketh up the owl as a very little
A
thing,
very little thing. The next verse, 16.
and Lebanon is sufficient to burn,
It's not.
nor the beast thereof sufficient for a burnt offering.
They're burning right now. Lebanon is burning right now. Now read how other nations, what they mean to me. Read it.
All nations
How many
before
of them?
him,
How many?
all nations before him
Or what?
are as nothing,
Nothing.
and they are counted him less than nothing.
And vanity. Exactly. Are you getting this? Okay. Now, with that said, and what's your trivia? Let's go. It's a wedding. You all had an invitation. Now, see, I invited all nations to this wedding. I just did it. Just so you'll know, even if you're in the park, whatever you're doing, you just can't come with a microphone. They've come already with a microphone. They came with cameras, phones, and all the Hollywood equipment, and lights. They came with a director and a narrator. They came with an interviewer. They came to Miami to this house to interview me. We have it. And I'm not speaking of the news media either. I'm came for the government. And they made a motion picture out of it. We just haven't seen it yet. I was in a movie setting. Is that right? Well, why would they come to me? There are only two beings from the Temple of Love, international headquarters, that was established in 1979 by Moses Israel / Yahweh Ben Yahweh. Folks that they interviewed, and that was quote Yahweh Ben Yahweh, end quote Nika Israel, end quote. The only two. They even interviewed me when he went to Jacksonville in 1982. They interviewed Nick on television. The news media came and the temple interviewed him, took him to the studio and interviewed. We want to talk to you. Interview. It's all right. It's all right. Call Moses Israel and told him, go, son. Not the first time. But why? You should want to know, why would they only target those two? My Ab and myself. Why would they only target us? And not talk to someone from the Peace Foundation or those other groups that create images, their own groups. And why would they go interview them? But that's rather strange. So we have you're invited, and in order to get in, you give an invitation. The invitation is trivia. Now I also invite those with the same trivia who are white. I'm not going to sponsor this comment, but the trivia question is, and I'm going to read it. I've heard it written down here. I'm going to read it. I'm going to quote it. Quote: If ye had to cross over from hell into heaven, that's into, not together, that's into. Two separate words. Into. If you had to cross over from hell into heaven, and there is fire below, comma, how would you get over from hell into heaven? What would you use? How would you get over from hell into heaven? What would you use to get there? I have no idea what I said, but you want to be me. No one, not even my explained and revealed the mystery of the difference between ye and you but me. I'm the only one that did that. You can check all his videos, read all of his books, all the cassette tapes, and you will not hear or read or see not one thing that came from my art as you know the difference from ye and you. Y-E and Y-O. I'm also the one that just typed why you. You know, like, why you? Why you? Why you? Why you? Of all the people in the world, why you? Now, you may not going to see that. I'm just going to get my. So you have to have you get into college. This is your intuition. Did you graduate from elementary school? From sixth grade? Did you graduate from junior high school, middle school, from grade 7 to grade 8 or 9 in some places? And did you graduate from junior high school to get in high school? And most importantly, did you finally graduate from high school and get were you deployed? Were you deployed onto the world? And they meant to do it? You call deployment. Diploma. Did mom give you deploy? Did your mom deploy you? Did you deploy you with a diploma? So what do you have? I'm looking for one word. They can't see you. If you want to disguise your voice and sound like a rat or something. A mouse, sound like Donald Duck. They can know your voice. What you have? Huh? What you have what? What do you have? Hmm? Listen, do you have knowledge? It's a literal question. It's really literal. Yeah, there's no such thing as common sense because I bust that wide open too. But you do have sense. That's really not. That's why there's no such thing as common sense. But what do you have? I'm not calling names. I'm pointing. What do you have? Hmm? What do you have? What do you have? Hmm? No. Okay. Now I have everyone except maybe one left. Two. I am going to now, as you heard it on video. You heard the question. I'm now going to give you the answer. There's only the answer, one word. The answer. It's literal. So now you're going to have to write. Remember I told you to get something to write with in the beginning? All right. I'm going to write too. I'm not going to ask you to do anything I'm not going to do. I'm going to spell it. And we're going to do it in English. We're going to do it from left. We're going to, from left to right. Right. And I'm going to start from the left like you write in English. See, English is from left to right. Hebrew is from right to left. That's why the first is going to be last and last first. I mean, what? I'm going to take you to the first, and then you're going to come to the university last. Right? No, that's what they do. I'm going to take you to the university first, then you're going to go to college. You're going to go backward. Did you hear me? I'm going to take you from high school to the University in Miami, University of New Jerusalem. And after I'm done, then you're going to go to college. You got to start all over again from college. What? Your new mind. The old mindset is unclean. It'll be a new mind. So let's go from left to right. Your first letter is B. You got it? B. Your next letter after that is R. Then you're going to put the vowel known as I. The next letter after that is D. The next letter after that, from left to right now, is G. And your last letter with ye, with the Y-E, is right, E. And that's what you're going to use to get over from hell with fire below into heaven. I hope no one's confused. I just told I just took you to elementary. I told you it's an element. Then I took you to the mist in the middle. And we got to the mediator. Then you became high above all nations upon the face of the earth. High. And we have no more school because we didn't find out that that's the volume of the book without the SCH. And now I want to take you to the University in Miami of New Jerusalem, and you're going to tell me everything else except how you're going to get across to me from here. And fire below. You should want to cross the bridge. You want to cross the bridge. Well, how are you going to cross the bridge? Who's going to help you cross the bridge to get this wedding? Because the wedding there is in New Jerusalem. Who's going to help you cross the bridge? God. God. And the God is hidden in the bridge. The letter to create God in English is G, right? So now you put a circle around a G. I'm doing it too. I'm not going to be any different from you. I'm doing my up. See, it's an if. I have an if part. You can't see it. He's telling me, I'm going to tell you, circle the G or Gimel and put a line under it, like an arrow pointer, and put G and put God under that. Just like I got it. Right? And now under that, well, after the D, you got G-O-D, right? And now you're going to put apostrophe S. Because remember, S is the last letter of wives. It's plural. But you're going to put apostrophe there because you got to be God's wives. Right? Now, under that, you're going to write from left to right what's left of what you had under the bridge or on the bridge. And that should be, follow me, that's going to be B, R from left to right, I, D, E. And welcome to the marriage supper. Okay. Now I have my bride. And if you want, you can put parentheses the S. Now, how could you forget who you are? I'm your husband. Look at him. I knew something was going on there. I told y'all not to go to Miami. I to leave Mika alone. I told y'all. I bet he got on with 9 years old too. Somebody even said 7 years old. Somebody said 7 years old. He go hold himself and look at the 7-year-old and get off. Can you imagine? I bet I go to Miami and watch it go get it. It's going to be an invasion. They call it statutory. They call it statutory rape. Like how Absalom had to rescue his brother, his sister from it. Didn't either because he still raped her. Tomorrow, he still raped her. He was killed for it. That's incest. Anyway, now that I have my bride, or my brides, you forgot I married you? Yes, you did. Go to Jeremiah. You did forget. Go to Jeremiah chapter 3. I'm upset. How could you go to another man committing adultery? How could you go to another God? You went to another God, and I'm already married to you. You better turn, you backsliding children. Jeremiah, I'm a file charges. I'm not going to divorce you. I'm not going to give you the bill of divorcement either. I'm not. I could, but I'm not going to do it. They're like the Arabians. Jeremiah chapter 3, read verse 2. Actually, start at verse 1.
They say, if a man put away his wife, she go from him and become another man's, shall he return unto her again?
See how they have apostrophe at the bands? Read the next line.
Shall not that land be greatly polluted?
Wouldn't it? But what?
But thou hast played the harlot with lover.
Ooh. What?
Yet return it to me,
Who?
said the Lord.
See what you did? Verse 2.
Lift up thine eyes unto the high places, and see where thou hast not been lying with. In the ways hast thou set for them as the Arabian in the wilderness.
Who? The Arabian? What Saudi Arabia got to do with this in the Bible? He had the Arabs in here. As they're doing today. Why? Because they have more than one wife. They know the law. The sad thing about him, how? Go ahead.
Thou hast polluted the land with thy whoredoms and with thy wickedness.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore the showers have been withholden, and there have been no latter rain. And thou hast a whore's forehead.
Wow.
Thou refusest to be ashamed.
Okay.
Wouldst thou not from this time cry unto me, my father? Thou art the guide of my youth. Will he reserve his anger forever?
Okay. Now, with that said, read the next verse.
Will he keep it to the end? Behold, thou hast spoken and done evil things as thou couldest. The Lord said also unto me in the days of Josiah the king,
Mm-hmm.
Hast thou seen that which backsliding Israel have done? She has gone up upon every high mountain and under every green tree, and there have played the harlot.
Okay. Wow. She played the what?
Harlot.
Okay. Okay. Hold on for a second. Okay. Played the harlot, right? Okay. And what verse is that?
Verse 7. Verse 6.
Read verse 7.
And I said, after she had done all these things, turn thou unto me, but she did not. And her treacherous sister Judah saw it.
You had to see this. See, Judah's there. Right? Read verse 10.
And yet for all this, her treacherous sister Judah have not turned unto me with her whole heart, but fiendly, said the Lord.
Verse 11.
And the Lord said unto me,
What?
The backsliding Israel have justified herself more than treacherous Judah.
I mean, Judah. Read verse 12.
Go and proclaim these words toward the north, and say,
In North America, and what?
Return,
the backsliding Israel.
saith the Lord.
But what?
And I will not cause mine anger to fall upon you.
Could you imagine making God angry because you want to go and hold with another man? You are married to a man and you're going out with another man, another God. For what?
I am merciful.
Merciful. Say who?
The Lord.
That's not the little God. And I will what?
Will not keep anger forever.
But only on the one condition. 13. What?
Acknowledge thine iniquity, that thou hast transgressed against the Lord thy God, and hast scattered thy ways to the strangers under every green tree.
And what?
And ye have
Who?
not
You? Ye
have not obeyed my voice.
What?
Said the Lord.
So what?
Turn, O backsliding children.
Said who? Micah.
Said the Lord.
Says Micah.
Said the Lord.
What?
For I am married.
I am married unto you. What? In the Bible? And I'm married unto you. Not ye. Ye are my angels, but I'm married to you. Israel,
Mm.
Judah. I married Judah. My angels wouldn't go fight God. But Judah's all over the place, following other gods, another man. Backsliding Judah, treacherous sister Judah. I'm married to you, and I will take you one of a city and two of a family. It will bring you to Zion as my wife. You see it now? Okay. With that said now, let's go to Revelation chapter. See, Ma'ab came, you're going to go to Revelation chapter 19. Ma'ab came here on this planet in 1935, October 27th. 2 days ago made 89 years anniversary, 89. October 27, 1935, October 27, 2024, 89 years. And 19 years later, from 1935, here comes his son in September, which is the ninth month. So now you have 9 and 9. And that's why I hid the mystery of the marriage supper of the Lamb today that you go to God University first. So now you got to turn to Revelation chapter 19, and you're going to read verse 9. Revelation chapter 19. I'll read. I think we're going to read 9. I don't know if we can do it before then, but read verse. First side, just do what you want so we can get into the foundation.
And after these things, I heard a great voice of much people in heaven saying,
What?
Hallelujah.
Really?
Salvation.
See? Hallelujah. Salvation. And what else?
And glory.
And glory.
And honor.
Mm-hmm.
And power unto the Lord our God.
Really?
For true and righteous are his judgments.
Mm-hmm.
For he have judged the great whore, which did corrupt the earth with her fornication.
What?
And have avenged the blood of his servants at her hand.
Remember that? All those that would be headed? Okay, what else?
And again they said, Hallelujah. And her smoke rose up for ever and ever. And the 24 elders.
Oh, you got some elders and ready. They did what?
And the 4 beasts fell down and worshipped God that sat on the throne.
Oh, really?
Saying,
that's not the Lord. That's God. Say what?
Amen.
See,
hallelujah.
Yeah. Worship God. Say what?
Amen. Hallelujah.
And read what they said, verse 5.
And a voice came out of the throne saying,
see, praise our God, all ye his servants. Only one can tell you to do that. The one who revealed it. And ye that fear him, both small and great. Read verse 6.
And I heard as it were the voice of a great multitude,
right.
And as the voice of many waters, and as the voice of mighty thunderings, saying, Hallelujah.
Again, right?
For the Lord God, omnipotent.
Look at it. Omnipotent. There it is right there. Now read verse 9.
And he said unto me,
see, right. Take out your writing utensils. Something to write with and something to write on. Write. You hear me? Write. Blessed are they which are called into the marriage supper of the Lamb. And he's what?
And he said unto me,
see, these true sayings of God. That's what you need to know. These are the true sayings of God, the marriage supper of the Lamb. And when you look at this word marriage in Greek, it takes you to G1062. Go to it. G1062. And I'm taking you now to a banquet. A band. I'm taking you to a band of angels. And don't quit on me. Don't quit. That's 1062. Look at it and see what it means.
wedding or marriage festival,
Right.
a wedding banquet,
A wedding
wedding
banquet.
feast.
How about that?
That's what
Mm-hmm. So now you got to go to the supper. Now you know you're in a feast. Now you go to the supper on the G1173. So what's the supper? G1173. What you have? You should have used of the Messiah's feast, symbolizing salvation in the kingdom. You know, just click it in 1173, G1173. Yeah,
used of the Messiah's feast,
and salvation.
symbolizing salvation in the kingdom.
Right. Now go to his etymology in 1160, G1160, and see if it don't take you that you don't have to, it's going to be expensive and a cost. It's going to cost you your soul and your expense, no matter how long. Is that right?
Expense, cost.
Right. Is that right? Okay. And in order for, now, as a matter, this is a ceremony. This is the ceremony. At the ceremony, with the ceremony, right, in 1160, G1160, right? With the ceremony, there comes something else. Go back to let's see. You have go back to go to Revelation now, chapter 21. Revelation chapter 21. Read verse 1.
I saw a new heaven and a new earth.
Read right now, don't forget, we ceremony. Go ahead.
For the first heaven and the first earth were passed away,
Mm-hmm.
and there was no more sea.
No more sea. Okay.
And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, come down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
Really? So now you know who the bride is. You're the bride. Go ahead, and what else?
And I heard a great voice out of heaven saying,
What?
Behold, the tabernacle of God is with men.
Now you know who the tabernacle is. It's their husband. It's the groom. What else?
And he will dwell with them, and they shall be his people. And God himself shall be with them and be their God.
Wow. That's going to be fulfilled only one way. Okay, what else?
And God shall wipe away all tears from their eyes, and there shall be no more death, neither sorrow nor crying.
Now, what verse are you on now? Okay. Go back up to verse 2 and read that again, because you missed it.
And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
So how was that bride adorned for her husband? That's the bride. You know who the bride is now, right? So how is that adorned? You have never studied adorned. How did the bride become adorned? I mean, so many out there want to be made. You got to explain how did the bride become adorned? The bride became adorned by having on a veil, because all brides come to a wedding with a veil face. They do. Isn't that true? And in the meaning, on the G2885, right? It takes you to adorn. And in your Greek thesaurus, in the meaning, you look for it, it's going to take you to having a veil. Having a veil. Look at G2865. Mm-hmm. Because don't forget, it's a veil that you have to take care of. A bride adorned for her husband. Right? Revelation. Okay. Well, no. It's the bride. Who has on the veil? Okay. But you got to go to the bride. She has on the veil. So you got to go to G3565. Well, that's bride. It's in there. G3565 is the bride. Read the meaning of it. A betrothed woman, the bride. Okay, now look up there. It said etymology. We'll say the bride has on.
Veil as a bride.
Right.
As veil.
And the only way, because we almost at the end of the wedding, we've been there for a while. So we're almost at the end of the wedding. I'm the husband, you're the bride. We had a ceremony. And as I prepare you for New Jerusalem, in order for you to get you ready for New Jerusalem, I have to first remove the veil from off your heart so you can see New Jerusalem. But I got to kiss the bride, right? And get you ready for New Jerusalem. So to go back to Revelation chapter 21. Right? And look at, you're going to read verse 2 again. Verse 2 again.
And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband.
And what do you see? All these years, they thought that New Jerusalem was going to come down with God. I see Jerusalem is coming down from God. It's got to come from college. It's got to come from the university. I don't see where it's coming down with God. I don't even see where it says coming down by God. I see that there's something new in Jerusalem that's going to come from God. It's going to come down and bring you down. They're going to come down to you. He's going to descend down and bring you to Jerusalem. That's what I see. And once you look at this really hard, You see, it's coming out of heaven, not from heaven. Out of heaven. And I just gave it to you out of heaven. As a bride adorned for her husband. And you have a veil over your heart. That's why you couldn't see it. So now that's me. Now you got to go to 2 Corinthians. Because the same veil that Moses had. Now you got V-A-I-L here, right? Okay. You have V-E-I-L. That's the New Testament. That's because that's for ye, E. You got to go back to A. So now you're going to type in the search box V-A-I-L. And go to chapter 30 of Exodus, verse 6. Because I have to meet you in the chapel, in the wedding. Go to Exodus chapter 30 and read verse 6. You got it? Exodus chapter 30, verse 6. Read it.
And thou shalt put it before the veil that is by the ark of the testimony, before the mercy seat that is over the testimony, where I will meet with thee.
Right, now here we are meeting today. I'm meeting with thee. Go to chapter 34 now. Same book, Exodus. Chapter 34, you're going to read verse 33 and then 34. That's when you was with A. That's with that vowel A.
Until Moses had done speaking with them,
And then what happened?
he put a veil on his face. But when Moses went in before the Lord to speak with him, he took the veil off until he came out.
Really? That's V-A-I-L, right? So how come they have V-E-I-L in Revelation? And there is no V-E-I-L in the Old Testament, except Song of Solomon. That means Solomon would be the only one with the V-E-I-L that he hid in Revelation. Look at it. Just type in V-E-I-L. So you see the only place in the Old Testament is the Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 7. Solomon got to be here. You got it? What does it say? Wait, what? The watchman that went about?
That's it.
Only Song of Solomon, right?
Yeah.
And would you also believe or mind that there's not even a V-E-I-L in Revelation? Scroll down and look. So where does V-E-I-L come from? The E for ye that came from A. That's why A said to put the veil over their face, son. Now you go to 2 Corinthians. Because it's the same veil that has to be done away with you that Moses had over his face that's now in 2 Corinthians. Chapter 3. And read beginning at verse 12.
Seeing then that we have such hope, we use great plainness of speech, and not as Moses, which put a veil over his face.
What? What?
That the children of Israel could not steadfastly look to the end of that which is abolished.
And here's the end. And they couldn't see it. Read 14.
But their minds were blinded.
Their eyes were blinded?
Their minds.
I told you got to see with your mind and hear with your mind, not with your eyes. For what?
For until this day remaineth the same veil.
The same one?
Same veil, untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament.
The same veil. Who put the same veil? Are you reading from the Bible? Go back to the concordance and put in V-A-I-L and read it from there. So you can click on and see Who is the same one that put the veil over your face? Mm-mm. You're going to be shocked. Read it from there in your concordance. Veil, V-A-I-L, and then go to 2 Corinthians chapter 3, and then click on it, and click on it again, and go to your Strongs, and read it from there. What do you have? Read verse 14.
But their minds were blinded. For until this day remaineth the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament, which veil is done away in Christ.
Now, which verse? What reference is he next to saying? G 8:46. Him himself will take it away from you. The husband himself.
So,
Verse 15.
but even unto this day, when Moses is read, the veil is upon their hearts.
Who heart? You're the same people. What you have next to there? The same themselves. I mean, you'll be here for me to take it away from you, as you were before. Verse 16.
Nevertheless, when it shall turn to the Lord, the veil shall be taken away.
Right. You got it? All right. So now, with that said, now you know the veil. Now, when you click on veil here, which is taking you to 2571. It should. And what you have?
A veil covering.
A what?
A veil.
Well, how do you spell it in the meaning?
B-E.
Why? Because it's for ye. Go to the etymology on the G2572. And what's it tell you? It's to hinder the knowledge of a thing. What thing? New Jerusalem. And to and under that, under G2928, is crypto. Is to hide and conceal something to be hidden. What? New Jerusalem. Secretly. What is it? New Jerusalem. Right. What? New Jerusalem? Coming down from God out of heaven. I kissed the bride. I removed the veil from over your eye, and now I kissed the bride. Song of Solomon, the only place where veil is found in Solomon. And take it to the universe. Now write down university in your pad. University. You know how to spell it. University. University. You got it? Now, I'm going to write it with you. You're still in Revelation chapter 21. Now, write it again. Write UN dash a space and put I in the middle dash a space. Because university is, what's the root word of university? Okay, so you go write down UN dash a space and put I in the middle, lowercase I dash, you're going to put verse. VRCE. Right? Now, what is this? What's the synonym for R-E, re. Like undo, re. Huh? Because I can't, whatever I've done so far today, I cannot take it back. So you're going to put under UN-I-verse, you're going to put RE, do away with the I, and put RE and then VERSE. Now what you have? Reverse. Now go to your strong concordance and put that in. Can't take it back. I mean, my Arbor gave it to me. He blessed it, and I cannot reverse it. He's the only one who can do it. You put reverse. Tell me if it takes you to number 23:20. Actually, 23:19, and then reverse 20. Reverse 19 and 20. Read it. He's not a man. He should lie. Reverse 19 and 20.
God is not a man that he should lie.
Neither will he take on a substitute. What?
Neither the Son of Man that he should repent.
Right.
Have he said, and shall he not do it?
Right.
Or have he spoken, and shall he not make it good?
Right.
Behold, I have received commandment to bless.
I have. And he blessed. He has blessed. And I cannot reverse it. Click on reverse on the H7725. With no etymology. What's it tell you to do? I'm restoring your mind. Taking the veil off and turn you back of human relations, of spiritual relations with God. To turn back, right? And come back. To turn back to God and repent. That comes from universe. That comes from university. And since you say university, that's the reverse city. There's no more C. That's why it shows up there in verse 1 in Revelation chapter 21. There's no more C. That's why there's an S there for city. The new city, New Jerusalem. Don't you still have city there with university? I didn't tell you to write it, but that's what that means. That's what it is. S-I-T-Y. No more C. It's city. New Jerusalem, the holy city, coming down from God out of heaven. The New Jerusalem. And what they're saying, as we close, now I can take you back to college. Because the first shall be last, the last first. Go now to Matthew, right? And chapter, let's 19. Matthew chapter 19. And read verse 30 and see why you go to university first before you go to college. Because you know college is not in the dictionary, not in the Bible. So read Matthew 19:30.
But many that are first shall be last.
Many what? It didn't say what a many would be.
And the last shall be first.
So that means college will be first. No, right? That's how because they put you college will be first. Right. Then you go to university. Right. But no, it's opposite. University should be first and college last. Go to your search box. Search box and type in COLLEGE. And let's see how you got to start the second all over again. And, you know, college is not in the Bible, so just type it in. We're going to find it some kind of way in the skies. We're going to find it in the skies. College? King James Version? Click on it and see where it takes you to. What Hebrew word? The G4932. Mishnah. Twice? A second. Huh?
Copy, second, repetition.
Right. But that's not what you want. You want H8138. So you can see how you have to come again and do it all over again. What? Hebrew, disguise yourself. Right. You go to college last. I mean, why? So you can do it all over again and come to first. And that's the marriage supper of the Lamb. You just had a wedding. You just went through a wedding. I now pronounce you husband and wives. Wise, intelligent, very educated, and sharp. The universe of the beautiful that they had coming on in the 90s. They had no idea. They had no idea. You got it? I think it was worth it today, no matter how long it took. That's why it's a special day. Because you had to go to a wedding. I had to remove the veil and put it in order. I put it back in order. Put it back in order. The sad thing is, I'm not sure, but I'm almost certain because the dashboard is saying that we lost some people, but probably anyway. That's it. Let's go to the wedding reception. And let's get something to eat.
Yes.
Go to the wedding reception. All right? Just stay safe. Stay safe, and you can have a tour around the dorms and college campus. All right, but let's say shalom alaikum.
Alaikum salam.